Einstein's view on imagination and knowledge. Unveiling the power of creative thinking. Albert Einstein, one of the most influential scientists of all time, is often remembered for his contributions to the theory of relativity, his explanation of the photoelectric effect, and his insights into quantum mechanics. However, one of his most enduring and provocative quotes has little to do with scientific equations or experiments. He famously said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world." This statement has sparked debates among philosophers, scientists, and educators alike. What did Einstein mean by this? How could imagination, a seemingly abstract and non-quantifiable concept, hold more value than knowledge, the foundation of science and discovery? To understand Einstein's view on imagination and knowledge, we must dive into his personal philosophy, his approach to scientific discovery, and the role of imagination in human progress. The power of imagination. A glimpse into Einstein's mind. Albert Einstein's early life was marked by a deep curiosity about the world around him. Born in 1879 in Ulm, Germany, Einstein was a late talker and didn't fit the conventional academic mold. In his youth, he was often misunderstood by teachers who saw his questioning nature and unorthodox learning style as a hindrance to his academic success. Yet, these same traits would later shape his groundbreaking contributions to physics. From an early age, Einstein was drawn to questions that went beyond what was taught in the classroom. He would often ponder philosophical and scientific questions, imagining the possibilities of how the universe worked. One of the most famous anecdotes about his childhood is that he used to dream of riding alongside a beam of light, wondering what it would be like to travel at the speed of light. This curiosity sparked the kind of imaginative thinking that would later lead to his theory of relativity. Einstein's imagination was not confined to mere daydreaming. It was a tool he used to push the boundaries of existing knowledge. His thoughts on imagination were deeply connected to his creative approach to science. While most of his contemporaries in the early 20th century were concerned with complex mathematical formulas and experimental data, Einstein's approach was grounded in thinking beyond the data at hand. He once remarked, "Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions." The role of knowledge in science, a foundation, but not the whole picture. Knowledge, in its traditional sense, consists of facts, information, and principles that have been established over time through observation, experimentation, and repetition. It is the backbone of scientific progress. For Einstein, knowledge was crucial, but it had limitations. Knowledge is built on the past, the accumulated wisdom and discoveries of those who came before us. It allows us to understand the world in a specific way, often in terms of what is already known. However, knowledge, while powerful, is ultimately finite. Einstein understood that there is always more to discover, and that is where imagination comes into play. Imagination is not confined by the limits of established knowledge. It allows us to see beyond what is already known, to envision new possibilities, and to explore concepts that have not yet been proven or understood. Without imagination, there would be no breakthroughs, no scientific revolutions. Einstein's view was that knowledge alone, no matter how vast, is insufficient to explain the unknown or to discover new truths. It is through the lens of imagination that knowledge evolves, and new scientific theories are born. Imagination as a scientific tool. Thought experiments. One of Einstein's most innovative methods of scientific exploration was his use of thought experiments. A thought experiment is a hypothetical scenario in which a person imagines a situation or problem to test a theory or principle without the need for physical experimentation. This imaginative technique allowed Einstein to push the boundaries of classical physics and uncover concepts that were revolutionary for his time. Perhaps the most famous of Einstein's thought experiments is his theory of special relativity. At the age of 16, Einstein imagined what it would be like to ride on a beam of light. He asked himself, "What would I see if I were traveling at the speed of light?" This simple yet profound question led to his groundbreaking realization that the speed of light is constant, regardless of the observer's motion. This insight would later form the basis of his special theory of relativity, which revolutionized our understanding of space and time. Another notable thought experiment was Einstein's elevator experiment, which helped him develop his theory of general relativity. He imagined a person in a sealed, accelerating elevator, where gravity and acceleration would feel the same. This simple idea led him to the realization that gravitational forces could be understood as the warping of space-time, rather than a force acting at a distance, as Isaac Newton had proposed. Through these thought experiments, Einstein demonstrated that imagination was not merely fanciful thinking, but a rigorous scientific tool. By imagining hypothetical situations, Einstein could transcend the constraints of current knowledge and explore the underlying truths of the universe. Knowledge versus imagination. The evolution of scientific thought. Einstein's famous quote, "Imagination is more important than knowledge," suggests that imagination is the key to unlocking new realms of understanding. Knowledge, while important, is often static, and it can create intellectual inertia, preventing us from thinking beyond the established norms. On the other hand, imagination encourages the mind to break free from these limitations and envision new possibilities. This contrast between knowledge and imagination can be seen in the evolution of scientific thought. For instance, before Einstein, the dominant view of the universe was based on classical mechanics, a framework established by Isaac Newton. While this framework explained the motion of objects on a macroscopic scale, it was insufficient to explain the behavior of light and the behavior of objects moving at high speeds. The knowledge available at the time was limited, and it was only through the imaginative thinking of Einstein and other scientists that new theories emerged, like relativity and quantum mechanics, that would eventually reshape our understanding of the universe. In this sense, imagination is the engine that drives scientific progress. It challenges the status quo, asks questions that have not been answered, and explores uncharted territories. Einstein's view was that knowledge should never be an endpoint. It should serve as the foundation for new ideas, for thinking beyond the known to the unknown. Without imagination, knowledge would stagnate, and scientific progress would grind to a halt. Imagination as a catalyst for human progress. Einstein's emphasis on imagination extended beyond science. He saw imagination as a vital tool for human progress in all fields. Whether in art, philosophy, or social justice, the ability to imagine a better world, to envision possibilities beyond the present, is what drives innovation and societal change. As Einstein once said, imagination is the highest form of research. He believed that in all aspects of life, imagination provides the spark for progress and transformation. In the realm of technology, for instance, it was the imaginative thinking of innovators like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and others who envisioned technologies that didn't exist yet and brought them into reality. These visionaries, much like Einstein, used imagination not as a mere escape from reality, but as a means to change it. The idea of creating devices like smartphones, electric cars, or space travel was initially nothing more than a vision, a product of the imagination. Imagination and the future of science. Today, Einstein's view on imagination and knowledge continues to resonate in the scientific community. While we have vast amounts of knowledge at our fingertips, the challenges of the 21st century, climate change, artificial intelligence, space exploration, and medical advancements, demand imaginative solutions. The greatest breakthroughs of the future will not come from simply collecting more data, but from thinking creatively about how to address the problems we face. In fields like quantum computing and artificial intelligence, scientists are again relying on imaginative thinking to explore the unknown. Concepts like quantum entanglement, superposition, and quantum tunneling, once the domain of theoretical physics, are now being actively explored for practical use. These innovations will depend not only on knowledge of existing theories, but on the ability to imagine new technologies and new ways of thinking. Conclusion: embracing imagination in a knowledge-driven world. Albert Einstein's view on imagination and knowledge encourages us to think beyond the limits of our current understanding. Knowledge is essential. It allows us to build a framework for understanding the world. But it is imagination that pushes us to transcend those boundaries, to explore the unknown, and to create new possibilities. Imagination allows us to question the status quo, to envision new ways of thinking, and to challenge our perceptions of reality. It is through imagination that science advances, art flourishes, and human progress is made. As Einstein himself said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. In a world where knowledge is abundant and readily accessible, the true power lies in our ability to imagine what lies beyond it.